Yo, it's Dan. I am back with another Cake Day video. I'm responding to people in the INFJ subreddit today. Here we go. Let's jump into another one. This one is from a user named SnackAntony. I like your name, SnackAntony. You're an INTP, according to you. You say, I've taken the 16 personalities test plenty of times and have consistently gotten INTP, now getting INFP. However, I relate far too well with the posts on here and I've gotten tired of the repetitive memes on INTP. I know that doesn't say much, but I was curious. I'd appreciate some input. Thanks. Ooh, that's an interesting one. I think you should take other tests besides the 16 personalities test. And also, taking the same test over and over again isn't going to yield you with super accurate results. I would take a variety of tests. I have taken probably like 10 different tests, I think. And I got INFJ on most of them. I've also gotten ENFJ and INTJ. So I got ENFJ years and years ago. I think it might have been on 16 personalities, and then years later I retook it and I got INFJ. And I went to a bunch of other ones and I got INFJ. And I got INTJ one time on one test, and I got, I think, ENTP on another test one time. But probably 90% of them came up INFJ. So try to get the opinions of a lot of different tests because they're going to be kind of testing for different things. But the other thing that really is important is just learning the cognitive functions, trying to understand how they work, trying to type people around you, and getting a sense for where you fit within the context of people. And that's kind of, MBTI is seen as kind of pseudo-scientific to some degree, but there is some reality to the observations that people have made to come up with these ideas of cognitive functions. It's not just completely pulled out of people's asses. And I've observed these kinds of things as well. So, for example, the difference between INTP and INFJ is going to be extroverted intuition versus introverted intuition is going to be a big one. And how does that demonstrate? Well, an INTP using extroverted intuition is going to find it much easier to communicate ideational jazz, so to speak. They're going to want to try a lot of different things. And INFJs are not necessarily going to want to try a lot of different things. They are going to want to have experiences, good experiences, but they're going to do a lot of their trying things in their head, preferably, and then the things that they sense are the right course of action or the right thing to do, then they're going to act on it. I think just my observation from having a good friend who's an INTP male. I've also dated INTP females. Of course, I've known a lot of INFJs over the course of the years. INTPs, I think, retreat more than INFJs do from human contact. INFJs, in their extroverted feeling, tend to gravitate more towards communicating with humans more. Not that INTPs never do that, but just INFJs are going to be more social creatures, I think, than INTPs will. INTPs are going to be perfectly happy with sort of cloistering themselves and really just disappearing into their own research and their own kind of world, into the world of memes. And I'm not going to say INFJs never do that, but an INFJ will start to get the sense that they're being unhealthy, and really at their healthiest, they're going to be engaging with people quite a bit. But that's kind of only really the extroverted feeling part of things. And as far as the introverted intuition, I think INFJs are going to have a stronger sense of knowing what is the best thing for people. So they're going to be able to look at something and know really well how something is going to play with people, and this causes them to create things that are really easily consumable by humans. So when INTPs create things, a lot of times it's very twisty, turny, kind of not random, but like it's extroverted intuition. It's sort of like finding your way as you go. And that may not be the most easy to understand for other people. So I guess one thing you could ask yourself, if you're kind of on the fence about INTP and INFJ, is do you have a strong sense of knowing what is really going to work or what is really good for other people? Or do you more have a sense of knowing what is true and what is false and your logical framework? Which side of that do you fall more on? Because an INTP, it's not like they're not going to know what plays for people because they use extroverted feeling, but that's not really going to be their focus. Their focus is really going to be on like the logical framework that they're building. It's going to be on research and raw data, and yes, les memes, where INFJs, obviously I like good memes too, but I'm kind of lost in my own world of intuition first and foremost, and will kind of wait to spring an act as opposed to trying to find my way by just kind of ideating and coming up with lots of ideas and feeling it out. I'm usually trying to like build some kind of structure in my head and then communicate that out to other people in a way that works for them and makes sense. So I don't know, hopefully that helps, but you could dig more into introverted intuition as a study and learn more about it and really get a sense for, hey, like, do I have any trouble with this, or is this like, am I bathed in this? Do I just constantly use introverted intuition? And that should help you kind of find the dividing line there. As for whether you are an INTP or an INFP, that is a whole nother question requiring a lot of research and study, but I would just watch videos on YouTube from INTPs and INFPs. I think you'll notice a lot of differences kind of in their behavior, their physical appearance, and how they communicate. In general, I think it's strange. Like INTPs and INFPs can both be really good communicators, just depending on their level of growth as a person. But I think INFPs are going to be perhaps in many cases seen as irrational by INTPs. So if you know INFPs and you see them as highly irrational people, you may be more likely to be an INTP than an INFP. Not to say that you are an INTP just because you think INFPs are irrational, but I think an INTP looking at an INFP would think that the INFP is being very irrational, where an INFP seeing another INFP might say, hey, we're both irrational. So that's no criticism of INFPs, because I'm dating an INFP and I love INFPs. Hope that helped, and I'm going to leave it there. So we'll see you in the next video.